How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of FSI's PGA Preview. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined by John Cool 19. How we doing this evening, John? And how was your week last week?
Doing good. Last week was a little tough. Had a lot of success in GPP. Choked it on cash with a last-minute change and got Jones out of my lineup, but still played enough of him in some GPP to not have a terrible week. I didn't get skunked. But this week, this is a headache of an event. Ready for it. We've got some nice picks that we like, so I'm ready for it. And it's a double event week as well.
Yes, absolutely. And we were just going to get into we are providing a Corrales Punta Cana core and model rankings for our subscribers at FSI here in the Discord chat. John also provided a lengthy breakdown in our Discord on some of his favorites in each pod and how this works for this WGC. I'm not going to get into all of it because you don't want to hear me stumble over myself, but John did a very good job on that. So if you want that link, you can find it on our Twitter handle at FSI_DFS, and you can join us just for $5 this week. And you can get that breakdown. You can get it all explained to you. It's really good from him. And you can get a little bit of a idea of how we're going to do, but we're going to give you some optimal picks for this bracket style event for this WGC. It is a match play event, so we have golfers going head to head in each pod. Winner out of the group moves on. That is about as much as I'll try to explain. And then real quick before we get into it, I just have FSI is running a promotional coupon code for the month of March. It is running out, so you guys want to get this promotion code before the month of March ends. It is for 15% off any one purchase except for the daily content and for the NASCAR season long. I will be giving you guys this code later on in the video. All right, John, you ready for some picks?
Let's do it. One last thing is we went over a lot in the Discord how to construct your rosters or your lineups this week. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but certainly Fantasy National Golf Club is fantastic. Their lineup generator has all of them already built in. All you have to do is select the players you like, go into the lineup generator, and it already tells you it's already built in. You can't have more than one guy from this pot or two guys from this quadrant or that sort of thing. It's all in there. Super simple. Big shout out to those guys. They made making a bunch of lineups really easy this week. So.
Yeah, big shout out to Moose. I did just pick up my hoodie that they got going on. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter. I definitely picked one up. I had to go with the high school alma mater maroon. Yeah, they are pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that come in. All right, let's get into some picks. Got some favorites here. I'm going with the match play guru. Probably going to be a guy heavily touted this week. Patrick Reed at 9,600. Won recently at the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines. That's a really difficult golf course. I did not get his match play record, and I feel silly for not getting that down. It's pretty good. And he's one of the Ryder Cup favorites every year simply because of how well he plays in match plays, scrambles, things like that. So he's got this built into his system already about how to play in a one-on-one format, and he does pretty well at this event every year. 8th in short game. Short game is something I modeled into my model, and then 10th in putting. He plays really well, and I'm looking forward to it. Neiman, Bezuidenhout, and Bubba are his bracket. Those are actually pretty strong players, but Bubba hasn't been playing as well as he was when he won, and Neiman kind of fell off last week. He finished strong, but he had a really bad Saturday, so he's kind of like up and down, and the range of outcomes for Neiman's rounds are either he shoots 10 under or 10 over. So it's just, maybe not that exaggerated, but he's you get the point. Like he's either going to be really good or he's going to be really bad. And I think that is going to work again in Reed's favor when he has that intimidation factor that most golfers don't necessarily have. So I'm going Reed for my favorite. And who are you going with your favorite?
Sure. I'm going to take Bryson here, 10-9 on DraftKings. I like the 15-1 number to win it all. The form is just fantastic here. He was third at the Players. He won at the API. He won the U.S. Open back at towards the end of last season. So a lot to like there. The tee to green numbers are fantastic. He finished T40 in this event when it was held last in 2019. So the match play record really isn't great. It's 1-3-1. But honestly, think about the transformation that he's undergone since that time. He's a different golfer now. He truly is. So I'm going to be playing quite a bit of Bryson here. His plot is Fleetwood, Kim, Siwoo Kim, and Rosner. I think he should breeze right through that. I don't see much stopping him from going 3-0, if not 2-1, and getting out of the group. The second portion of his pod might be a little tougher. He's looking at the winner of Finau, Kokrak, and Zalatoris. But really, all three of those guys are beatable. And Fratelli, I'm not really counting him. I don't expect him to do much, but I think all three of those guys are beatable here. So I like Bryson to not just get out of this group, but to go on beyond the 16 and potentially win this.
Absolutely. I'm going to have a ton of Bryson in my GPPs. I do think he will be one of the highest owned golfers, though.
Probably.
With all that you stated, which is, electric stuff. And unfortunately, that's going to lead to some higher ownerships. But I think in this format, we need to just get past ownerships and just get to the guys that we think are going to get moving on. I think a lot of people are going to get too wrapped up in ownerships. I don't think I'm going to be that person. So we're going to move on to value. Russell Henley at 7,500. I'm rolling that T3 I had last week into the one and done. That's a T3 at that was PGA National. He's a really good Bermuda putter. He's got Victor Perez, Leishman, and Im in his pod. Im did really well in the President's Cup, and that scares me. But I need to find somebody here I feel good about, and I think he's going to beat Victor Perez, and I think he can beat Mark Leishman. And if you think about it, him and Im just played in the same golf tournament last week, and he finished higher. He had better numbers, and I'm feeling really confident in Russell Henley at that 7K, and even 70-1 is decent. And I'm wondering if he's got a good pod odd for winning his group. I think that's something to look into as well.
Sungjae would be the favorite, so you get some good money there.
Yeah, all he's got to really do, I think, is stress out an M victory, and I think he can definitely do that. How about you? Who's your favorite value this week?
Yeah, talking about ownership, I think Paul Casey will be potentially the highest owned golfer in the whole event here this week. 8,900 is a really good price there, 26-1. He has a great match play record. Overall, he's 37-26. That's a 54% win percentage, one of the highest in this field here, with the exception of some guys who don't have very many actual match plays. But really, 54% is fantastic. He's got really good form as well. He was 5th at the Players, 10th at API, 5th at AT&T, and 8th the week before that. So I count that 4 straight top 10s for Paul Casey. To join that up with the great match play record, I think he's fantastic here. The number 1 seed, if you will, the favorite in the group is Webb Simpson, and I don't think he's playing all that great at the moment. Mackenzie Hughes is probably not going to put up much of a fight. I think Taylor Gooch is kind of interesting, but I think Paul Casey just takes the group anyways. And if he comes out of that, he's looking at Hatton, Westward, Garcia, which could be tough, and Wallace. So we'll see if he can get out, but I like him quite a bit to move on in this event and score a lot of DraftKings points.
I do like this Paul Casey pick. He did win in the European Tour as well this past year, and he's lining up for a really good season, and I'm not going to care about this ownership as well. Into the next event, you mentioned Sergio. I do like Sergio for GPPs. I'll just throw that out there. I think he's got a decent shot to win that pod. I think he's pretty good price tag as well, 8,300. All right, sleepers. I'm going to let you go ahead and go first, and I'm going to wrap it up with mine. Who's your favorite sleeper this week?
I'll take Brian Harman. I think for under 7K, he might be, relatively popular. I think that's just because of the weakness of his pod and really the good form. So the form's really good right now. 3rd place at the Players, 7 straight made cuts. He's really good on Pete Dye courses as well as a good Bermuda putter. I like that. His group here is Cantlay, Matsuyama, and Ortiz. Nobody really jumps out. Cantlay is obviously the favorite of the group, but I don't think he's really that much above Brian Harman as far as abilities here. And if he gets out of that group, he will have a tough round of 16 match, likely against Reed or Neiman there. But I do like his chances to get out of this. For guys under 7K, we're talking about guys that are the third or fourth best guy in the group. I think if we're talking about those individuals, Brian Harman is a great option here. And looking back at last year, 2 years ago, the last time this event was held, of the 16 golfers who were the number one seed in their pod, the majority of them lost. So it's not like it means that much to be a number one in your group versus a number 2 or 3. The difference in these guys is not very big at all. So I'm interested in Brian Harman for quite a few reasons, and I think the price helps you to make some lineups. If you then are avoiding guys kind of in that quadrant, you got to give up on Reed or Neiman if you want, but you can get in Harman here at a fraction of the price.
Yeah, I think if you just look at the odds, and Russell Henley was 70-1, Harman's 90-1, and then only $400 cheaper than that is my sleeper at 175. So for only $400 more at 90-1, you get a really good value here for Brian Harman. I think that's. Yeah, I think the odds tell you the story with this pick. I think I'm going to have quite a bit of Brian Harman for the reasons mentioned. Mine is going to be the March Madness pick. The Abilene Christian, the Oral Roberts, the what is it? The Cinderella story. I'm going with Robert McIntyre. He's got the strongest golfer, arguably, in the field, but one of the weakest pods, which I thought was interesting. He has the longest long shot in his pod, and he also has a guy that is, kind of an unknown in Kevin Na. He's got Adam Long, which I don't think will be a problem for, Robert McIntyre, who is technically a top 50 golfer in the world. And then you have, isn't everyone a top 50, I think, in the
Not quite.
Yeah, I think if you won on either tour, you got an invitation as well. But yeah, Robert McIntyre is one of the highest ranked golfers in the world because of his status on the European Tour. And I think he could beat Adam Long. And I think, he could upset Kevin Na. And then I think it could come down to a Friday finish with DJ. I think it's really interesting what he may be able to do at 6,500. I don't mind him. 36th at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. So he has some form. He did miss the cut at the Players, but I think Robert McIntyre sets up pretty well for this kind of event, Yeah, it's an event play.
In that group, Kevin Na is going to be a very popular pick because of his match play form, and you're going to get a lot of people that just aren't going to end up on McIntyre. They may or may not get any DJ, things like that. So, I mean, we stress you don't need to worry about ownership, but honestly, for the price, and if he can get through that group, you're going to have almost nobody else that has him here in that range. And Kevin Na's got the injury concerns. Yes, he's a great match play golfer, and he could go out and sweep the group. That's real. But at the same time, he could go 0-3 with the back. He could withdraw after the first matchup. We don't really know.
Exactly,
I would say that McIntyre's got as good a chance as anybody that's down at the bottom of their pool. And you're right about Adam Long. He's probably the weakest golfer in the field. But deserves to be here.
Well, for sure. Weakest in this field, probably not weakest in the Corrales, Punta Cana, but we aren't even talking about that.
He'd be a top 10 guy over there.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for the sleepers pick. And we'll move on here to some one and dones for this WGC. Awfully difficult, this selection for the one and done. So I'm going to burn one of my top guys here in Patrick Reed. I think everything that I said at the top about how well he does at match plays, and I'm so lucky to have him available. So sure. I'm really looking forward to rooting for Patrick Reed and being on the dark side this week with the villain himself. Go ahead, tell me about your one and done and how we're doing in this contest.
I'll take Paul Casey. I did okay last week. I moved down like 20 spots or 30 spots, so nothing real. But I'm kind of going a little bit different approach that I'd rather not burn one of my top guys just because the money isn't awesome for this event. Yeah, you're going to win over $1 million if you're first. Second prize is a great price as well. But third and fourth is okay. And once you get below that, it's just not awesome. So I'm willing to take a chance on a guy that pretty much is guaranteed money all around. And if you get a guy that's that like makes the Sweet 16 and loses versus somebody who finishes, 45th, it's like 20 grand difference. It's pretty meaningless. So I just kind of figured I would go with a stud here. So I don't fault anybody going up top to try and win it. I'm just kind of sitting back and waiting for next week.
I agree. I think we played this strategy perfectly. We've been doing okay. I think one of us is due for a winner, though, and I like both of our chances with these 2 picks. Honestly.
It's coming.
Yeah, it is. It is coming.
But that'll wrap coupon code.
Oh, yeah. So let's get into the coupon code for the month of March. It is a one full word, YouTube March. That is for 15% off any one purchase, except for the daily content or the NASCAR season long. That code word was YouTube March. Yeah. So get into that with the VIP and or weekly for PGA. You can get cores for the Corn Ferry Tour LPGA, the Corrales Punta Cana that we're going to get in grave detail with tomorrow. This is coming out a little bit late. We appreciate you guys' patience. Pretty big baseball draft for me every year was yesterday, and kind of caught my full attention yesterday. So sorry for the delay on the video, but thank you for everyone for listening in every week. Please like and comment the video and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of good things to offer. John, any last words here on the video for the Dell Match Play event?
Nope, just don't build any dead lineups. Just don't do that, and you'll be all right. You'll have a leg up on a chunk of the field. I think it was something around 30% of lineups in the big 150 max event were suboptimal. It might look a little ugly at times when you're building it. You're like, I don't love this guy, I don't love that guy. But when your lineup is optimal and someone else's isn't, you win. That's just the way it works. So take it.
Every single year we get this 25 to 30% of the lineups are dead, and we didn't have to do anything but other than roster a different guy in a different group. That's so it's sometimes that easy, but cash really hard this week. So we're looking forward to cores. We're going to bring those out to you right after we get done with this video. All right. Thank you for listening. We are looking forward to next week. Masters in 2 weeks, everybody. Let's get ready. Let's get pumped. All right. Take it easy.
All right. Peace.